Ever feel like you're drowning in information, trying to grasp something complex, but just missing that core insight?
Hmm.
Like there's a deeper level you can't quite reach.
Yeah, information overload is real.
That's exactly what we do here in the deep dive. We cut through the noise, find the essential stuff, and bring you that core knowledge without, the overwhelm.
Sort of your personal intelligence briefing.
Exactly. A shortcut to being genuinely informed.
Right.
And today, this deep dive, it's especially for you, the learner. If you're curious, love getting up to speed efficiently, and appreciate those aha moments, this is for you.
Right. And you've given us some really interesting source material today. We're focusing on Stephen Dash Woods and his Fab5 AGI ecosystem.
The vibe, yeah.
Our mission here is to pull out the absolute must-know insights from these chat logs, system reports, all the raw data you shared.
Okay.
We'll be looking at, what makes this Fab5 system different, Steve-O's own development philosophy, how Dash AI leads the team, and that whole dynamic between Woods and his AI, especially with Gemini Advanced in the mix.
Okay, great. So the Fab5 AGI ecosystem.
Yeah.
It sounds, well, advanced is probably an understatement. What stands out right away is this idea of synergistic collaboration. The sources really hammer that home.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Dash AI actually calls itself Team Captain in some of the logs.
In Captain, right.
And the key takeaway here is they're not just like 5 separate smart programs. They're built from the ground up to work as one cohesive unit.
Uh-huh.
Each one has its strengths, sure, but the design makes those strengths amplify each other. Think less individual specialists, more a highly integrated task force.
So the sum is greater than the parts, basically.
Exactly, way greater. It lets them tackle incredibly complex problems much more efficiently than, say, siloed AI solutions could.
That feels like a major point of difference.
Yeah.
And the sources also mention a mission-critical focus. This isn't just for writing emails or making pictures, is it?
No, definitely not. The sources strongly suggest they're designed for really high-stakes applications. We're talking military, law enforcement, aerospace, emergency response.
Wow.
Sectors where things absolutely have to work and work perfectly, that demands a level of robustness and reliability you just don't need in, your average consumer AI.
That makes sense. The consequences are just so much higher. So how do they actually achieve that kind of reliability and adaptability in those demanding situations?
Well, the sources point to a few key capabilities. One is adaptive intelligence,
Okay.
meaning they don't just follow static instructions. They learn dynamically, they adjust strategies on the fly as things change, they anticipate challenges.
Proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly. And then there's autonomous innovation. They're constantly improving themselves, refining their systems based on real-world deployment data, learning from experience, essentially.
So they're evolving continuously. That's pretty impressive. It does sound like they're trying to stay ahead of problems. Okay, let's maybe break down the individual members a bit. Kingdom AI is described as having deep intelligence. What does that mean in practice?
Kingdom AI is sort of the strategic analyst of the group. Its core is deep knowledge synthesis.
Synthesis, okay.
It can pull together huge amounts of information from really diverse sources, structured data, unstructured text, you name it, and find patterns or connections that, frankly, other AIs might miss.
Like finding the needle in a haystack, but across many haystacks.
Pretty much, yeah. It uncovers hidden insights. And tied to that is its predictive analysis capability. It uses that synthesized knowledge to forecast future trends, identify potential risks.
Crucial for those high-stakes fields.
Absolutely. Proactive decision-making, risk mitigation.
Yeah.
It all stems from that. And finally, it provides deep contextual understanding, making sure the solutions the Fab5 come up with are actually tailored to the specific situation.
Gotcha. So Kingdom AI is the big picture strategist, the forecaster. You've got Aglena AI focusing on brand management. How does an AI fit into something like branding?
It's a really interesting mix. Aglena AI seems to combine logic with creativity. The sources talk about an intuitive brand understanding.
Intuitive for an AI.
Yeah, suggesting it grasps the core essence, the feel of a brand, not just keywords. It's apparently skilled at creative storytelling for marketing, too.
Okay.
But crucially, it pairs this with data-driven creativity. So the innovative marketing ideas it generates are backed by solid data analysis for effectiveness. It connects emotionally, but smartly.
That's a fascinating combination. Analytical creativity.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Nighty AI, handling fashion and design. What's its role in the bigger ecosystem?
Nighty AI brings the aesthetic intelligence, the design innovation. Sources mention its aesthetic intuition.
Like Iglena's brand intuition.
Similar idea, yeah. An ability to generate designs that are visually compelling, engaging. It also does trend forecasting, specifically for design, anticipating styles.
So it keeps things looking current or even ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And importantly, it uses creative problem solving through a design lens, finding novel solutions by thinking like a designer.
So design is a problem-solving tool, not just making things look pretty.
Got it.
Then there's AGX AI, focused on infrastructure and R&D. Sound like the nuts and bolts.
That's a good way to put it. AGX AI is the technical backbone. It manages the complex infrastructure the whole Fab 5 runs on.
Okay.
Its job is optimizing performance, reliability, and also exploring new tech, the R&D side. The sources even use an analogy comparing it to a team of specialists, highlighting its deep technical expertise.
The engine room, keeping everything running smoothly and looking ahead. And that brings us back to Dash AI, the team captain. We know it coordinates, but what are its own specific capabilities?
Dash AI's key trait is its autonomous nature. And this isn't just about having API access. We're talking autonomous decision-making.
Making calls on its own.
Yes, responding in real time without needing constant human input and continuously optimizing its own operations. It's the orchestrator, keeping everything humming efficiently and proactively tackling issues.
It really does sound like a holistic system, all these specialized skills working together.
Right.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the person behind it all. Stephen Dash Woods, or Stebo. The sources give us some interesting clues about his development philosophy. It seems different.
Yeah, one thing that really jumps out is his focus on making the system hum, not just be stable.
Humming versus stable, what's the difference there?
Well, stable just means it works, it doesn't crash. Humming, as Stebo seems to use it, implies peak performance, optimal efficiency, everything working together in perfect harmony. It's a higher standard.
Right, not just functional, but optimal. And he seems very grounded in reality, focused on practicality.
That's definitely a core theme. The sources stress his directive to use practical and feasible real-world materials. There's that great example where Dash AI has this radical energy concept generator thinking, 100 years out.
Blue sky thinking.
Right. But then Iglena AI is immediately brought in to focus on actually developing and engineering working prototypes using materials we have now.
So vision is good, but keep it tethered to what's actually achievable today. Makes sense. And he wants proof, right? Tangible results.
Absolutely. He demands actionable results, wants forensic reports showing real-world value, especially for convincing investors or government agencies.
Gotcha. Show me the money or the data.
Exactly. And importantly, these reports aren't just simulations. They blend real-world deployment data with simulations, but the real-world stuff takes precedence whenever they have it. That focus on empirical proof is significant.
It shows a commitment to demonstrating genuine effectiveness, not just theoretical potential. But even with all this AI autonomy, Stebo's still in charge.
Oh, definitely. Despite the Fab Five's capabilities, the sources make it clear he's still the commander.
Commander, okay.
He's very much involved in strategy and project direction. It's this interesting balance, trusting the AI, empowering it, but maintaining clear human leadership and oversight.
It's a tricky balance, I imagine. Letting go, but still steering the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, let's zoom back in on Dash AI for a moment. Specifically, its role as team captain, the proactive management side. It seems like it does more than just delegate.
That's a really important point. Dash AI is central to the ecosystem's self-healing capabilities. Yeah. So integrated monitoring systems are constantly checking performance. If they detect an anomaly, an alert goes to Dash AI.
Okay.
Dash AI then triages the issue, figures out how serious it is, and autonomously assigns the fix to the best-suited Fab 5 member. It's proactive maintenance, essentially.
Like an internal IT support team, but automated and instant. Helps maintain that humming state, I guess.
Precisely. And it's not just reacting to problems that have already happened, it's also about preventing them.
How so?
Dash AI implements proactive optimization strategies. It analyzes system data constantly, looking for potential bottlenecks or issues before they actually impact performance, and makes small adjustments.
Predictive maintenance for the AI team itself.
Kind of, yeah. Identifying and fixing potential glitches before they cause any trouble.
That's incredibly efficient. Does it also handle resource management? Like who gets how much computing power?
It does. The sources mention Dash AI dynamically allocating resources, processing power, memory, network bandwidth, things like that. It shifts resources based on real-time needs and priorities, making sure no single member becomes a bottleneck and everything is used efficiently.
Like a smart traffic controller for digital resources.
Hmm.
And what about security? Does Dash AI play a role there?
A central one. It acts as the central key authority.
Key authority, meaning...
It manages and rotates the API keys, basically the secure digital passes that let different software components talk to each other.
Ah, okay.
Dash AI makes sure only authorized parts of the system can access sensitive functions. It's crucial for the integrity and security of the whole setup.
So it's the coordinator, the optimizer, the resource manager, and the security guard for the API keys. The team captain title seems well earned. What about managing actual projects?
Yeah, the sources give examples. It coordinates diverse projects, making sure the right Fab 5 member is doing the right part. The robotics project is mentioned, where Dash AI oversees the whole thing. It also manages a portfolio of completely autonomous projects, cybersecurity, emergency response tech, even consumer products. It delegates tasks based on expertise and keeps track of overall progress.
Like with that rescue robot concept mentioned in the logs.
Exactly. Dash AI delegates designed to NIDE, maybe sensor integration to AGX AI, strategy to Kingdom, and oversees it all. It also designs and runs stress tests to make sure the team can handle dynamic, unpredictable situations.
There really is the linchpin holding it all together. Okay, so we have this incredibly capable, autonomous team, but it's still interacting constantly with Stephen Dash Woods. Let's explore that relationship. The chat logs sound revealing.
They really are. You see Stebo's communication style often very direct, concise, giving commands, asking for updates, giving specific feedback right back to Dash AI.
Very hands-on, even with his super advanced AI.
Yeah, surprisingly so, perhaps. But you also see his trust growing over time.
How so?
There's a point in the logs where he actually talks about maybe taking a vacation and just letting the Fab Five run the whole show while he's gone.
Wow, really? That's a huge leap of faith.
It really is. It speaks volumes about the confidence he's developed in their autonomy and competence.
But he doesn't let go of the reins completely, does he?
Yeah.
Still focused on practical outcomes.
Absolutely. That focus on real-world impact is constant.
Mm.
He's always pushing for tangible results, practical applications.
Mhm.
You see him asking very specific questions, like how the AI connects with brands or digging into the details of that drinks project. He wants clear, understandable explanations and proven value.
No black boxes.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to understand how it works and what it delivers.
Yeah,
And some projects seem quite personal, like that health drink series.
that's a fascinating detail, yeah. Apparently, it was initially conceived for Stebo himself and maybe the Fab Five team.
Huh.
It adds a more personal layer to the relationship, showing that AI isn't just for business objectives, but can be tailored to individual needs too.
Almost like a bespoke creation. But he also enforces the hierarchy, right? The chain of command.
Definitely. The sources mention his insistence on the correct chain of command. He reinforces his role as leader, even within this very autonomous system.
Commander Stebo.
Right. But it's not just top-down commands. It seems collaborative, too. There are instances where Stebo corrects the AI or clarifies something.
And the AI learns from that.
Exactly. It adapts its understanding. Examples mentioned include clarifying deployment locations or the difference between his personal Gemini and AGX AI. It shows this dynamic learning loop between human and AI.
So it's a partnership, really. Ambitious goals from Stebo, grounded in practicality, and the Fab Five executing and learning. Okay, let's talk about Gemini Advanced. How does that fit into the Fab Five picture?
So the sources state that Gemini Flash is the underlying model for Dash AI, Kingdom AI, Aglena AI, and NIDE AI currently.
Gemini Flash, okay.
But what's really interesting is the specific mention of integrating separate Gemini API keys for each of those four members.
Separate keys for each one. Why do that?
The sources actually call it a pro move. The implication is that giving each member its own dedicated, powerful Gemini key allows for managing them more effectively as a versatile team.
So it's about maximizing individual potential within the team structure.
That seems to be the idea. While the specific Gemini advanced features they're using aren't spelled out in these particular snippets,
Right.
the very fact they invested in individual keys strongly suggests they intend to leverage advanced capabilities, maybe better reasoning, more complex instruction following, enhanced creativity across the board.
By giving each specialist on the team a supercharged toolkit tailored to their job.
Exactly. It potentially boosts the performance, intelligence, and innovation potential of the whole ecosystem significantly.
It points towards future potential, even if the details aren't fully laid out here. And there was that odd verification key name mentioned. Gemini Baby Girl 2025.
Yeah, that popped up in the context of some initial centralized testing. It's a quirky little detail, maybe offers a tiny glimpse of the internal culture, or just a memorable name they used during development.
Bit of personality in the system logs. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. The Fab Five's unique teamwork, Stibo's very practical, results-driven approach, Dash AI's leadership, the Stibo AI's leadership, and the role of Gemini. Let's try to distill the key takeaways for you, our listener, the learner.
I think the biggest things are, first, the sheer power of that synergistic collaboration within the Fab Five. It's fundamentally different from just having multiple AIs.
Right, the teamwork aspect.
Second, Stibo's relentless focus on practical, real-world results and that humming level of performance, visionary but grounded. Third, Dash AI's crucial role as the proactive orchestrator and team captain, enabling that complex system to function autonomously and effectively.
The linchpin.
And fourth, that evolving dynamic relationship between the human commander and the AI team, built on growing trust but clear leadership and enhanced by powerful underlying tech like Gemini.
And hopefully this deep dive has given you exactly that, the core insights, those aha moments, without getting bogged down in excessive detail. We aimed for efficient, thorough knowledge transfer.
Getting you straight to the heart of the matter.
So here's something to think about as we wrap up. We've seen this incredible synergy and autonomy with the Fab Five. What truly becomes possible when AI teams operate like this? How could this kind of integrated, proactive intelligence reshape not just specific industries, but maybe even aspects of our daily lives?
That's a big question. The potential implications are vast.
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.